Hello, mummies, friends, and family. Dumelang. Um, hmm. Okay, let's start with the basics. Please remember to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to the channel. And of course, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really thought it was important for me to do a video about bullying and just to share my story and some of the things that I went through when I was bullied while I was still in school. I think it's actually very important for us to share these kinds of stories because they help other people also learn that being bullied is not really about you. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Sometimes it's just the person who's bullying you having their own issues and going through their own things and not knowing how to deal with their emotions or their situations. So I had this conversation with Amu as well, my daughter, basically after what happened, as we all know, with Lufuno. I think this happened last week. I found, for me, it was actually a trigger. It took me back to the time when I was bullied in primary school, especially. In primary school, I used to be, I think, kind of like quiet and a bit shy, but at the same time I was a very inquisitive kind of person and very curious, and I asked a lot of questions in class and things like that. And I I wasn't afraid to shine, basically, let's say, whether it's in extramural activities or in class. The one incident that stands out for me is on this particular day we were in class and I used to sit next to this boy, and this boy basically used to bully me very regularly, pretty much every single day. And I can't even tell what he was bullying me about on a daily basis, but what I do remember was that when I was in class particularly, he would bullying me for every time I would ask a question. So in this one class, I think it was, is it called natural science? It was that class. I remember because on that day we were learning about evaporation, and it was a topic that I found to be very intriguing, and I would ask a lot of questions about it. I remember we had to maybe like cut out pictures and show the whole what else is it called, like, from the sun, rain, the water then evaporates, goes back to the clouds, plants grow, that whole cycle. So we were cutting out pictures and then putting things in order. It goes from here to here and there to there, and the whole process. And while we were working, this boy would basically mess up my pictures. As I would put the pictures, he would mess them up. So I remember losing it. And when I lost it that day, it was a culmination of all the other days that he was bullying me, and I just couldn't take it on that day. So I burst. And I burst in a way that I literally lost it. I lost it. I took his book, I tore it up. Like, literally everything stopped in that classroom. And he was a very silent bully. So you would never hear him laugh at me in front of other kids or say things to me in front of other kids or humiliate me in front of other kids. But he was like attacking me privately. And that ate up at me because I could never tell someone or show someone that he's done something like that to me. And I remember when I acted out on that day, it was almost as if I'm mad, like as if I'm crazy, because I mean, what did this boy do to you? I had no receipts to show of what he's been doing to me and how he's been treating me, hence my reaction. So I just lost it and I didn't care. And I was, what, 11 years old probably, or 10. I was around grade 6, grade 7. I tore the book up, like I tore everything up, and like I think I stood up and like I banged stuff and I went crazy. I just lost it. And my parents were called to the office. We had a meeting with the parents. What's happening? Why am I acting out in this way? And I think for the most part of the meeting, I was crying because I really struggled to express myself and express why I was acting out in that way, especially because I didn't have receipts. How do I explain that this boy has been bullying me? And to me, it also felt like, what reason does this boy have to bully me? He was a white boy, also. I have a reason for saying this, for mentioning his race. To me, I felt like, why would somebody attack me? What is the actual reason? Like, why would a boy who looks like that, who has everything, attack little old me and make me feel bad about myself all the time, and make me feel bad about my me wanting to be more educated all the time? So I later found out in a way that it was almost like a jealousy thing because I was doing better than him academically. So maybe he just couldn't take it. This came out in one of the meetings that we had, as they were talking to him as well, talking to me, and trying to figure everything out. So I think the lesson that I took from this was that it really isn't about you. For sure, he had his own insecurities, and he clearly wanted something out of me that he didn't have, and the best way for him to deal with his emotions was by making me feel bad about myself and trying to shut me up. So I think maybe he didn't want me to get that information. So the more questions I asked, the more the angrier he would get. Like, why am I asking that? Because that's just gonna make me smarter or whatever. And or maybe it's he wishes that he asked those questions, so maybe I'm taking some kind of shine away from him, especially sitting right next to him. I went to three different high schools, but I experienced my bullying at the last high school I went to, and this was around grade 11 going into grade 12. Yeah, I was bullied going into grade 12. A whole grade 12 being bullied. I thought I was over it in primary school, and then I got to high school, and now a black boy bullied me. And I'm mentioning their races again because bullying has no race, it has no gender. Bully is a bully. Now, this one in high school was basically humiliating me and bullying me, even in front of other people. So now he was bullying me because I'm short. So I am a short person. Basically, every room that I'm in, I'm like the shortest person there. Yeah. So this guy would bully me because I am short. But you know what? This guy was also short, actually. Taller than me, yes, but he was probably the shortest boy. Like, he was the shortest boy amongst his friends. He was the shortest boy. So he used to bully me and make fun of my height, like all the time, and that was literally the only thing he could make fun of me with. And it really hurts me so much because I couldn't figure out why this boy is making such a big deal about my height. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm short, but so what? How is it gonna fix your life by continuing to highlight my issue? The thing I forgot to mention is that in primary school, when I was bullied, I never took it seriously. More than anything, it just frustrated and angered me. But in primary school, but in high school, what it did is it made me really sad, and it made me doubt myself a lot. I cried so much because that boy bullied me. I would go to my room and I would cry, and I would just cry. Like, let's say he has a popular name. Let's say his name is Mike. Anybody who went to high school with me will remember, that high school with me will remember that this boy, Mike, bullied the heck out of me. And luckily, my best friend, so at the final high school that I went to, it was like I was friends with one girl, and it was a lot of the times it was just the two of us. We did have other friends, but most times it was the two of us. And my friend was tall, Ruby. Ruby is tall. So we were the short and tall duo, like, and One thing about Ruby is that she stood up for me all the time. I really appreciated that about my friend, because she stood up for me all the time, all the time, and she never let any of that put me down. Obviously, in my own little corner, I never understood it, and it really hurt me a lot. But having that friend on my side really helped me a lot. Now, here's the catch that I found out later on in life, towards the end of that year, was that Mike actually had a crush on me. Mike actually liked me. Mike started asking me out. Mike started showing some kind of love interest in the short girl. And then it hit me like, oh, this boy didn't know how else to catch my attention. So the best way for him was to bully me. Like, maybe he didn't even realize he was bullying me. So because I'm making him feel some type of way, he's finding a need to make me feel some type of way. And I didn't even know I was making him feel some type of way. But later in life, he expressed it. Obviously, I was like, nah, fam, Mina, I don't like you back, because he had bullied me. But along the way, we became friends. Somehow we actually became friends, and we were cool, and we spoke about it. And I would tell him that he made me really feel like crap. He bullied me so bad. And I think he did apologize. He did. I think he apologized, and we made peace. By the time we were done, like matric dance and all of that, we had made peace and we were cool with each other, and he was no longer bullying me at all. He was no longer bullying me by then, and we had gotten over it. When you're a teenager, there's a lot of things that are happening to you with regards to your hormones, and so you don't know, we don't know how to channel those feelings or what to do with them, and we take it out naturally on people. And I think then the hormone of liking someone especially is that one that probably drives you the most insane when you're a teenager, because you're just like, whoo, and you don't know what to do with it. And so I learned truly that, again, it was not about me. This had nothing to do with me and my height. My height was not a problem, was not necessarily a problem to him, and it didn't affect him in any way. It's just that he was feeling some type of way towards me, and he decided to then act on it in a very unnecessary way, basically, in a very unkind way as well. If you know exactly what I mean, then I think it's important for us to share our stories regarding being bullied, because the stories are so different. A person who looked like me bullied me, a person who didn't look like me bullied me. Another thing I think is important to share that stood out for me in being bullied when I was in high school is friendship. When you surround yourself with the right kind of friends who can stand up for you, it's really something that is building to you and to your personality. Someone who can show you that just because you're not perfect, it doesn't mean you have to be bullied about that, because somebody else, the person who's bullying you, is also not perfect, but we choose not to highlight their imperfections. It has built me up to be very strong, because obviously I remain a short person, and obviously there are people who will always find the need to mention it repeatedly, but I'm just like, oh, thank you for reminding me, because I did not sleep in my body tonight, and I did not wake up in it and see it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Once again, please remember to subscribe. Mwah. Bye.
Die.